at the Finding Strength podcast. Today,
your camera's over there,
okay.
and mine's right there.
Oh, I did look at that one, didn't I?
Yeah, well, because you're used to sitting here.
I am.
But look at this.
I know I'm like thrown off. It's
We're
okay.
guestless.
We are guestless. Today you just get
Yes.
Matt and Brindy.
Do you want to know why? Because we're going to give you some education.
We're here to talk about sleep today.
Lots of sleep, good sleep tips and tricks and health and greatness. Because most people get really crappy sleep.
Well, and our sleep is like our foundation of our mental health, our physical health, and our overall performance.
Yeah. I travel around, as many people know, I travel around and I do all sorts of talks and stuff. One of the things that I talk about all the time is sleep. Mm-hmm. I get petitioned to go and do, seminars on sleep health and things like that. So we want to bring some of that knowledge to the podcast. One of my favorite things to do when I do these seminars is I'll say, who in here, like room full of 100 people, whatever, who in here gets really good sleep? And inevitably one, maybe two people will raise their hands.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the norm. Like our sleep quality just isn't the best. Our sleep quantity is a big question, right? How much sleep do I get? We actually petitioned our listeners.
Yeah.
And we got a bunch of questions. We're going to try and hit a bunch of those too.
Yep.
And the first question that came up was from the one and only Brooke Bartholomew. Thank you, big sister.
Yeah.
For sending in the question, which was,
how many hours of sleep should a person get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the answer?
I know it's different between men and women. So with women, it's more sleep. It's 8 hours. No, I'm wrong.
It's the same.
It is the same? No, I swear I've heard different. Okay.
Women definitely can use more sleep than men.
Hell yeah, we can.
For sure. You want to know a really good reason to give women good sleep?
Oh gosh. I already know what you're going to say.
What is it?
Give her an orgasm?
No, it has to do with sex stuff though. It's libido.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Women who sleep more than like 6-7 hours a night are gonna have an increase in libido, and women who sleep less than 6 hours a night, really 7's kind of like this magic number, right? 6 is really the big magic number. Less than 6, negative effects are detrimental to long-term and short-term health, daily activity, stress hormone levels, things like that. But for women, you want to let them, sorry, I'm not being that guy, but 7 hours of sleep or more is going to be really helpful for women in a myriad of health effects. And one of the great markers for optimal health is your libido. Is my libido active? Am I excited about that sexual stuff? If I am, my hormones are functioning correctly. It's a great biological marker to help me understand if my body's functioning correctly. And crappy sleep, insufficient amounts of sleep, is going to directly affect libido for men and women. A really interesting fact on sleep health, and a lot of our sleep information is going to come from this book right here. Mm-hmm. Okay, Why We Sleep. Matt Walker, some great information out of this book. He's been on podcasts. He has his own podcast. He was on Huberman a couple of times. He is just the man. He was on Rogan.
It's changed the way people view sleep
It's
now, though,
amazing.
and how important it is.
UC Berkeley, the sleep expert, got this awesome sleep lab. One of the things that he talks about is men, if you're getting less than 6 hours of sleep a night, that is affecting your testosterone levels to the equivalent of having testosterone levels of someone 10 years your senior.
Wow.
So
that is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And low T is a big problem.
Yes.
That affects mental health, physical health, emotional states, obviously libido. It's going to affect mood, all these different things. Testosterone is a very important hormone, and your sleep is the best recipe, or I guess remedy, to low testosterone.
Yeah. Well, let's start from the beginning then.
Okay.
Like, there's really, like, how many stages would you say of how do you want to start this?
So basically, I think the best way to do this is say, okay, really sleep health starts the moment you wake up.
Yep.
And you have a 24-hour clock called your circadian cycle, right? And that circadian cycle is broken up into kind of 8-hour segments, because optimally you want to get 8 hours of sleep a night. So every day your circadian rhythm, your circadian clock is setting itself by itself. Yeah. So if I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 8 hours from 6 o'clock would be what? 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Thanks, Ryan. We got a mathematician in the room, right?
Shout out to our producer.
Right? 2 o'clock. That is stage 1, 6 to 2. And then from 2 to 10,
Ryan.
I can do that now. 2 to 10, that's your second. And then the third would be 10 to 6. And hopefully during that 10 to 6 hours, you're sleeping. So those are kind of like our 3 stages or phases, if you will. And then within the actual sleep cycle, the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. cycle, there are different phases of sleep in there as well. So let's start with stage. We should probably call it phase 1, step
phase
1. Morning.
Yep.
So waking to afternoon.
Yeah.
What are the optimal sleep habits? What are benefits? What are the best habits you can use to benefit from? So do you know of any?
Yeah.
Off the top of your head?
Yeah.
What do you think?
The first one that I know of is sunlight. Within 30 minutes of waking up, you should be exposing your eyes to sunlight and natural sunlight. And I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, well, I get up really early and so I don't see the sun. So what they say is to turn on all your lights at home. Like they're artificial, but that is a help. And once the sun does come out, you should go outside and get in at least 5 minutes of sunlight.
Ideally, you're waking up with the sun. In the winter here, right? We're in the middle of winter now. That's not going to happen. But in summer, a really great thing to do, or when it's sun shines out, is keep your blinds open at night. A lot of people don't like to do that because there's a lot of outside light and things like that, and they have all these dark shades. But if you keep them open, you'll wake up with the sun, and it's a lot easier to wake up because light is the major kind of like indicator for your sleep wake cycle and this circadian rhythm thing. So as soon as the sun comes out, your circadian clock begins.
Yep.
And begins to create hormones that are producing waking chemicals in your body. Primarily, the major hormone that is going to be doing the most kind of waking, energy producing is going to be cortisol. And what's really interesting about cortisol is it's kind of got this bad rap as a stress hormone, as the major stress hormone, right? But cortisol is absolutely essential to human existence. The problem with cortisol is timing.
Yep.
If your major cortisol release, the timing of your cortisol release is delayed, and basically your peak cortisol levels are in the afternoon and evening, that is directly correlated with poor mental health, PTSD, anxiety, depression, suicidality,
and
all
not
that
sleeping
stuff.
well at night.
Yeah.
Because your cortisol is releasing later in the day and you're not able to fall asleep because you're having a cortisol release.
So what you're trying to do in the morning when you wake up, and the reason why you're looking at the sun is because that is going to trigger cortisol release.
Yep. And you want to do it within 30 minutes of waking up because then that starts that 8 hour, in that first phase, that 8 hour cycle.
Yes. So there are other things you can do within the first really 60 minutes of waking, 60 to 90 minutes of waking. And if you can do those consistently, pretty much every single day, you're going to optimize your sleep health like you would not believe. So really sleep health begins from the moment you wake up.
Yep.
And so sunlight would be number one.
Yep.
I actually, we have what we call the 4 for free.
Yeah.
There are 4 things that you can do that are absolutely free that will improve your mental health, your physical health, your mood, your state, and they will improve your sleep. So first one would be sunlight.
Yep.
Second one would be
cold exposure.
Cold exposure.
Which people hate. And I get it because I hated it too. And I secretly did it behind your back because if I quit, I didn't want him to know. So I totally get it. But I am going to preach on this one because it has changed my life. I can't even begin to tell you what cold exposure has done for me, not only for my anxiety, not only for my mental health, but especially for my sleep. And that cold water, it's part of releasing the cortisol. It's part of having it release and wake you up. And it is a game changer. I promise it will change your life. You need to try it.
Can you give us a little anecdotal story stuff from recent
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
You bring this up because not only does it affect me, it affects my household.
No. What?
No, it
Oh,
does.
come
It's
on.
true. I'll be honest.
No, mom's emotional state doesn't affect anybody else. She's not
I
the barometer
know.
for emotions in the home. No. Please continue.
It's terrible. But I got sick right after Christmas. And before this, I was waking up for the last year, I have been waking up. I have a morning routine. I get up, I get outside, I get in my hot tub, I do my sun gazing, I get in my cold plunge, and then I go work out. And I got sick on the 26th. I even remember the day. That's how bad it was.
I remember.
It was bad. And I was like in my bed.
A day of reckoning in the home.
Oh, and it's so true. But I had a fever. And I was like, I swear I've read something before where you can't get in the cold with a fever. And I was right. I looked it up. Do not get in the cold plunge if you have a fever. It messes with your core temperature. And so it was the first day I didn't get in the cold plunge. And I was like, oh, it's kind of nice because it's freezing outside and that looks terrible. So anyways, long story short, I go about a week and a half.
Well, it kind of all fell apart. No sun gazing.
Yeah, no sun
exercise,
gazing. I wasn't
no
doing my breath
in the
work.
morning,
Yeah. None of that. And I tried to stay super optimistic. I'm going to do my breathing. And I continued to do my breathing. And then my nose clogged up and I couldn't breathe. So I stopped doing my breathing. And then I just started feeling very depressed. I felt
Your mood shifted big time.
My mood shifted big time. I started worrying about so many things that were out of my control. I just started worrying. And it didn't hit me until about a week and a half in. I'm like, why is my anxiety taking over? Why am I feeling so blue again? And I realized, holy crap, I'm not doing my routine. I'm not doing my cold showers. I haven't made it to the gym. I got to get back in the cold. And so I started recovering. My fever went away. And I remember going outside and I went by myself because Matt started his new routine where he's getting up at like 5:55 in the morning. And I just wasn't going to do that after being sick. And so I went out and I got in the hot tub all by myself. And I literally sat there for probably 30 minutes, which I don't normally do. It's probably about 5 to 10 minutes and I'll do my breathing and then I'll go get in the cold plunge. But the whole time I was in there, I was talking myself into getting in the cold. It was terrifying. I was scared to get in it. Something I did every single day for almost a year and I had to do it again. And I was so nervous. And I just finally had to tell myself, like, buck up. Like, you have to do this. If you want to start feeling better, you have to do this. And so I went and I got in the cold and it wasn't easy. It was really hard. And I sat there. I got up to 3 minutes and I knew I couldn't do 3 minutes. So I did my 2 minutes and I got out and instantly I felt better. Now, it wasn't easy to go back in the next day because I knew what to expect. When you're in it, it's cold. Duh. But once you get out, I don't know, like just the adrenaline rush, what it does to you, the way you feel the inside of your body to start heating up. After about, would you say, it hasn't even been a full week, has it? No, it's been a week. How long? I don't know.
Within 48 hours, you were back to positive.
Yeah, 48 hours, like 3 days. It took about 3 days. And then
that's 72, but
48. Or 70, no, I would say 72.
I'd say 2, but and maybe that's
for just like the blues to go away, my anxiety to go away, the way I was like worrying all the time to go away. It went away. Like it seriously went away. I am more of a believer now than I ever have been with the cold plunge from pausing from it and then going back into it.
Well, yeah. I'm interjecting because it's not just the cold.
No, it's not just the cold. I'm sorry. My whole routine, my
Yes.
getting up in the morning, looking at the sun, doing my breath work, getting in the cold, and then going to the gym. The gym helps so much with the blues. Like I have been happy again, and the our home life with the kids, and everyone's like, okay, mom's back.
It's true.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's the 4 for free.
That's the 4
that
for
we
free.
recommend doing every single day.
Yep.
Wake up within 30 minutes, view sun, do 3 rounds of 5 big, deep, full breaths. 1, 2, and then get in the cold, whether that's a cold shower, plunge, whatever, cold water for 1 to 3. Really, we're trying to shoot for like 3 minutes ish in cold shower, 2-3 minutes, right? And then exercise for 30 minutes or longer. Those 4 things will change your life. That is not hyperbole. I'm not exaggerating. If you can do that daily, 5 out of 7 days a week, 4 out of 7 days a week, 3 out of 7 days a week, if you can just start doing that regularly with predictability, you will reset your circadian rhythm and you will begin to produce chemicals in your body that promote happiness, joy, upbeat, energy stuff, right? Primarily, it's going to produce the 4 for 4 produce 4 chemicals called the catecholamines: adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol, and dopamine. Those 4 chemicals are absolutely vital for health. And we need them, especially noradrenaline, correct cortisol timing, and dopamine. In fact, many major mental health issues are directly linked to dopamine misfiring, whether that's an exaggerated dopaminergic response or a diminished dopaminergic response. Those things are going to directly affect your mental health. And in the morning, first thing, if you can do that, it will help significantly in creating the right chemistry for your body to optimally function. And it will set your clock so that you can fall asleep quickly at night, which is something tons of people have a hard time with. So sleep health does not begin in the evening. It's not always about nighttime. It's actually it's about the morning more than really even in the evening. So do those 4 for free.
Yep.
And then notice we haven't mentioned eating yet.
Yeah.
Don't eat in the morning. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait 60, 90 minutes before you're consuming food. Don't caffeinate yet. Specifically caffeine, especially caffeine. I can't tell you how many people are like, dude, I got to have my pre-workout to work out. No, you freaking don't. Straight up. I'm telling you, you don't need pre-workout to work out. That is bullshit. It's not true. It's actually hurting your workout. You're creating dependence to an external chemical. That's creating habitual dependence in your life to other things. You're attaching dopamine to something outside of you rather than within you. Very difficult habit to get out of. And I know everybody loves their pre-workout. I get it, right? I used to love pre-workout too. Pre-workout that has a ton of caffeine in it, it is actually negatively affecting your sleep health. This is straight out of Why We Sleep, straight out of the words of the mouth of Huberman and all these other guys, right? If you really need a pre-workout in the morning, get off the freaking super caffeine. Try beta-alanine.
Well, and don't take it until like 90 to 120 minutes
we're talking
after.
about before a workout.
Yeah, but the thing is even Huberman says you can work out, you can do like a 10 to 20 minute brisk workout in the morning and it not be your main exercise of the day. And then you can wait the 90 to 120 minutes, have your caffeine,
and then
go work out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, you can totally do that. I don't know many people who have that much free time in the morning.
Yeah. True.
Sounds really nice.
True.
That would be really great. But most people are trying to get out the door by 8:30 or 8 o'clock. That's why you wake up at 6. You got 2 hours. You're waiting 90 minutes to caffeinate, and you're eating protein and fat in the morning. No carbohydrates. No carbohydrates. No carbohydrates. Simple carbs are destroying your life.
No carbohydrates.
Get the sugar out of your life in the morning, because every single morning your body programs itself for what it will crave throughout the day. If the first thing that I'm consuming in the morning is a stimulant, such as caffeine or sugar, I am going to crave that throughout the rest of the day. I need to let my body wake up on its own, do its thing on its own, then consume the nutrients and the chemicals like caffeine that I need to get me through the day.
Yeah. And then you don't have that crash later.
Right.
Because if you consume it like early in the morning and before your cortisol has hit, then you're crashing and here you are having another cup of coffee or whatever caffeine you drink at 2, 3, 4, which is definitely not a good time to be drinking caffeine for your clock to sleep at night.
So speaking of chemicals, right, like caffeine, which is a stimulant, right? We have those 4 waking chemicals, the catecholamines, adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol, and dopamine, right? Those are going to give you energy throughout the day. There are other ones involved too. We'll just keep it simple. But at night, your body needs to produce some chemicals. 3 kind of big ones to help you descend into this sleep world. Adenosine is a huge one. We're going to come back to that because that caffeine blocks adenosine. Acetylcholine, as well as melatonin. Everybody's heard of melatonin, right? Those are the chemicals that you need to descend into sleep. Caffeine blocks adenosine. So you wake up in the morning and your body, your brain, really, it's stored in your brain, is full of this adenosine. And that's the thing that kind of makes you feel sleepy, a little groggy, right? And so then I take all this caffeine, it knocks out all my adenosine, actually blocks the receptor, can't receive the signal, I'm tired. And all of that adenosine isn't used up by being processed through that receptor. So it's just stored in the brain. And caffeine, fascinatingly, has a half-life of about 6 hours. So you drink 1 cup of coffee, that's about 125 milligrams of caffeine in the morning at 6 a.m., right? 6 hours later, half of that caffeine is out of your system, right? So we're at noon, right? And then now I'm starting to feel a little tired again because all my adenosine's starting to come up, right? But the quarter life of this substance is 12 hours. So I'm taking caffeine at noon again. 12 hours later, I still have a quarter cup of coffee in my system.
Yeah.
And that's really the last time you should be taking caffeine, according to Dr. Walker, because that caffeine is definitely negatively affecting your sleep health. However, he is a very big proponent for taking caffeine in the morning to help with energy and focus, Huberman as well as other sleep experts. So
After the 90
after
to
your
120
90
minutes.
Yes.
Yeah. After that.
So we won't hammer on caffeine anymore, but that first few hours of the day, those 4 for free, are very, very, very important.
Very
for sleep
important.
health.
Yeah.
So next steps, next stage. What do we got?
So like
We're now at like 2:00. We've had our caffeine. We're done. Maybe if you want a little bit more caffeine, you can try it around noon. Definitely don't have caffeine 8 hours before bed. Now, what's the afternoon going to look like? What are we going to be doing in the afternoon to improve our sleep health? Any ideas?
eating.
You're going to eat. Yep. You're going to eat some snacks, right?
Yeah.
One of the things people really like to do in the afternoon is nap.
Yeah. Yeah. People do like to nap. Yeah.
Napping is a really beneficial practice. One of the things that sleep experts kind of tout is reducing your napping to less than 90 minutes. That's what some say. I've read research that say less than 60 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like 90 minutes is a lot.
Because as you look at the sleep stages, which we'll get into later, there's kind of the 4 big ones. This, light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. Those are kind of the 3. And there's one before that. It's like the pre-sleep stage, right? The awake stage. When you start to descend in a nap into that deep sleep stage, which is going to happen around, especially even into REM sleep, stage of sleep, you're going to begin to trick your body into thinking that it's time to produce the hormones that help us rejuvenate our body. And that's why when you wake up from a nap, you're groggy. So if you're waking up from napping and you're groggy, you've slept too long. That's negatively affecting your sleep at night.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things that are highly recommended for naps that seem to be really helpful, primarily Yoga Nidra, NSDR, also called non-sleep deep rest, or the Reveille app. All of these things touted by Huberman Lab podcast, right? If you haven't heard of that, definitely check it out, are going to be really beneficial for helping you with your napping in the afternoon. A lot of people love naps. 20, 30 minutes, you can recharge your batteries, be right back at it, and have enough energy in your system to go throughout the evening. So forgo the caffeine and take a 15-minute nap. Try NSDR or Yoga Nidra. That's going to help a ton. Yep. As well, in the afternoon, evening, one of the things you want to definitely make sure that you are doing is staying active. Being sedentary, beginning to become reclusive, staying inside too long, not getting your sunlight, that's going to increase acetylcholine, adenosine, and melatonin levels in the body too early, and you're going to feel tired and groggy, and then you're going to have a hard time falling asleep because you will have had too many chemicals, and it's often an imbalance and things like that. So one of the things you want to do is to make sure in the afternoon you're staying active and you're keeping your sunlight on the up and up.
Yes. Yeah. And if you're not a nap person, you don't need to take naps. It's okay to continue throughout your day if you have the energy and you don't have to take naps.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next phase.
Phase 3. This is the one where everybody really wants to know, right? A lot of our questions, we got some questions in here, right?
Yeah.
And we can talk a lot about this.
I'll grab them real fast.
Yeah, there's some really good ones on here. We talked about how much sleep you should get because everybody wants to know about like the actual sleep, like, right? We talked about the morning and the afternoon, how to get better sleep using those. But in the evening, what are the things that I want to be doing in order to get good sleep?
So one of the ones that I've learned recently that I absolutely love is looking at the sun again. And that's at the phase of when the sun is setting. So what I learned is that it has, you know, the light waves can hit our eternal sleep clock. I forgot what it's called. Circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
And it can tell our body like, oh, it's becoming nighttime. It is time to go to sleep. So if you can catch the sunset and look at that, it can hit that clock and tell your body, okay, it's time to shut down and get ready for sleep.
Yeah. The actual colors of the sunset
Yes.
are different than the colors of the sunrise. And those colors are going to trigger different hormones, different phases of hormone release in the body that are going to help you descend into sleep. So viewing a sunset in the evening is really, really beneficial. Yes. As well. Let's talk about food and nutrition in the evening. What should we be eating in the evenings that helps us sleep better? Let's go bad first. What kind of stuff, what are some bad habits for eating in the evenings that are going to negatively affect sleep health? Can you think of any?
Off the top of my head is sugar.
Sugar, yeah. Too much sugar, especially too late in the evening.
Too much sugar, yeah, late in the evening.
You really shouldn't be eating 2 to 3 hours before you plan on going to bed.
So, yep.
Because your body is going to be using a bunch of energy to begin processing the food, digesting the food. And instead of producing sleepy chemicals, it's going to be digesting the food and making waking chemicals. And it's going to be harder for you to sleep.
I feel like people forget, like we eat food to fuel us,
right?
To get us through the day.
Yes.
So eating at night, right before we go to bed, it's fueling us.
Yeah.
But we're not ready to be fueled. We're ready to shut down. We need to empty our tank.
This is a tough one because your body at around 9-10 o'clock at night, as it's about ready to go to sleep, has kind of like, there's so many like, we call them like levers in your body that are creating. So I pull this lever and a cascade of hormones and chemicals create a specific behavior or sensation or whatever, trigger some process in the body, right? And these levers have push and pull to them, right? One of those levers is I need to sleep. Another lever is I need to wake.
Yeah.
And at night, your body, if it's habituated to consuming food at night, it's going to continue to create that habitual need to eat. And it takes somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 days to break that habit. And that's what it's going to take for you to stop eating late at night. It's 5 to 10 days. And those 5 to 10 days are going to suck because that lever is being pushed or pulled. And it's saying, hey, we probably are going to need to eat right now because we might need to stay awake a little bit longer because that's what we're used to.
Yeah.
And this creates a lot of problems for people who have inconsistent sleep. If I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock one night, 1 o'clock the next night, staying up till 2 on the weekends, and then 10 o'clock during the week, my system doesn't understand that. My circadian rhythm takes 3 days to really set itself. And so every night, if I'm used to eating on the weekends at 10 o'clock at night, every night at 10 o'clock at night, I'm going to start feeling hungry. And that's a really, really hard habit to break, but it affects your sleep health so much. Additionally, right? Let's just think about this for a second. I consume a bunch of carbohydrates at night. What are carbohydrates designed to do? Produce energy.
Yep.
So that I can burn that energy and then I can fuel my body.
Yep.
But I don't need fuel at night.
No.
And so what is that fuel sitting there doing at night? Especially carbohydrates. What's it turning into?
It's fat.
Fat.
Yeah.
And so everybody's like, I want to lose some weight. Stop eating at night. It's
Yeah.
a great way to lose weight. Super simple, very uncomfortable, but very simple. Very simple.
But it is uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable, yes.
So I have a question here from one of the viewers, which is great for one of the other things that we need to do at night. It talks about, the question is, how does technology, especially screens and blue light, affect our sleep patterns and quality?
Oh, man. This is everybody's least favorite topic. We love our screens, don't we?
We love our phones.
We love our phones. Yeah. We love
Netflix.
Stimulation. Yes. Exciting shows at night are not helping you sleep. Going on your phone at night isn't just not helping you sleep. It's helping you stay awake.
But what about those people who are like, well, no, when I do look at my phone, I scroll through Facebook or I watch like YouTube videos of ASMR, people playing chess, and it puts me to sleep. Yeah. What do you say to them?
I say, how old are you? And if you're under the age of 18 and you're watching TV after 11 p.m., there is a 4-fold increase in likelihood of suicidal ideation. 4 times.
Wow, that's big.
And that depends on a bunch of different factors. But add in any other risk factors that are there, right? History of mental health, your own diet, your activity level, your poverty level, your trauma in your own life. These are things that are compounding on top of each other to increase the likelihood of suicidal ideation. There is an epidemic of teen suicide in this country, especially in different parts of the world. In our neck of the woods, one of the highest rates of teen suicide in the world is in Utah County and surrounding areas. I know so many parents who don't care if their kids watch TV late at night. And I don't work with this type of, this population as much anymore, with these boys who are in their early 20s and they still live at home with mom and dad. And 100% of those kids, 100% of them watch YouTube until the wee hours of the morning. 100%.
Well, and then don't they come dependent on it and then they can't fall asleep without it?
Yes. Yeah.
That's not good for your mental health.
And they're not even
for your
it's
clock.
Not creating sleepy chemicals, it's creating waking chemicals. It's stimulating the body. It's not de-stimulating. It's not relaxing the body. You have to think of things in terms of push and pull levers, right? That create chemistry in the body to do certain behaviors, right? If I'm pushing the button or pulling the lever, whatever you want to say, whatever analogy you want to use, that's creating waking chemicals, I'm creating energy in my body and I'm not going to be able to sleep. Mm-hmm. That is going to affect the cortisol timing. And if my cortisol is being released late in the evening, that is going to affect my mental health significantly for the negative. So parents, if you have kids under the age of really, I would say 25, but the research says 18, somewhere in that neighborhood, do not let them have phones past 11 p.m., period. They don't need them. What are they doing?
Yeah, they don't need them.
They don't need them.
Their sleep
Put them in your rooms,
important.
lock them up. Their sleep is
way more important.
Sleep is the foundation for all health. Mm-hmm. It is more important than diet. It is more important than exercise. It is more important than cold exposure. It's more important than sleep is the foundation for health. And if your kids aren't sleeping, it is going to kill their mental health.
Well, and their brain's developing. Your brain's not fully developed until you're 25 years old, and you're messing with those chemicals as it's growing.
Yes.
One of the great things that I think you can do, a tip, is to turn off your main lights that you have in your house and turn on like lamps with warm lights. That also sends a signal to your clock to say, okay, it's time to shut down. Like we need to send these signals to our brain so we can have our bodies start to shut down, and then our cortisol stops releasing. And then it signals that our body starts doing the work to shut down to get ready to go to sleep.
So have you noticed, listeners, how much we've been talking about light in relation to sleep?
Light is a big deal.
So the reason why the phone and the TV are negatively affecting your sleep health is primarily because the light that is being used on the phone and in the television is blue light. You notice when you wake up in the morning that the sunlight in the sunrise is much more blue than in the evening. You get more reds in the evening, you get more blues in the morning. That's just because of the actual photons that are coming from the light. So our bodies, over literally tens of millions of years, have been being programmed to respond to light. Bright light, blue light, waking; red light, low light, sleeping. So eliminate the blue lights from your room. If you have little blue, little tiny pin lights, cover them up with a piece of tape. At night, use lights that are warm, orange lights. The lamps she's referring to are like soft white.
Oh, soft white, yeah.
Yes, rather than the overhead daylight. So if you have overhead lights, like in the little, lamps or whatever that are on your ceiling, those probably should have daylight. And you flip those on in the morning, they'll help you wake up. And then you turn those off in the evening after about 5 or 6 p.m. is when you should start doing this.
Yeah.
And then you turn on the lamps in the evening, and that will help the mood of the home calm. And watch, your kids will calm down too. It's amazing what happens.
I love
Especially
it.
as you start to turn off televisions. This is a personal recommendation. I would say get them off of anything stimulating in the evenings after about 6 p.m., including video games and YouTube.
Which we don't do all the time. We try, but we don't.
It's so difficult to do.
It is
right?
difficult,
Watch a
especially
movie
today.
together. If
Yeah.
you want to watch TV, play some games, do whatever. Your kids will sleep better.
Yeah.
You will sleep better.
Yes. Okay, another question. Can you discuss the concept of sleep hygiene? What are the best practices for improving sleep hygiene for better sleep quality?
So sleep hygiene is kind of the overarching idea that we've been talking about in general so far. In the evening, a couple of sleep hygiene tips are get a consistent bedtime.
Yep.
Crucial.
A routine, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And 30 minutes before that consistent bedtime, where you're getting into the bed the same time every single night, do the same things. There are a couple of things that seem to help with improving sleep quality, not just being able to fall asleep, but being able to stay asleep, which is a huge problem for a lot of people, right? That is stretching in the evening, getting a regular supplement routine, taking a warm bath, because your body actually needs to cool itself by about 2 degrees to be able to sleep.
Yeah.
And
Your
when
temperature is a huge deal.
your core temperature,
Your core temperature
has to lower by about 2 degrees. And so you get into the bath, right? And your body is trying to cool you down. And so your core temperature actually cools when you get into the bath, right? It's the opposite. Warm water or cold water in the morning, warm water in the evening. That's really kind of how it works. We're hacking the system here. Yeah. And that will increase the levels of acetylcholine, adenosine, and melatonin in your body to help you sleep quicker and longer.
Well, and even like cooling our room, right? We make our room really cold at night.
67 degrees or below is what's recommended.
Of the room, yeah.
Yeah, so some weirdos even have their AC on in the winter. We don't, because we just open windows. But we did for a while because I know how important it is. And our kids wake up. If it's hot, right? If it's hot, how much are the kids waking up?
Oh my gosh. They come in our room and wake me up. I'm like, okay, make it colder.
If it's cold, they don't wake up. I'm the same way, right? I'll wake up in the middle of the night, pulling stuff off. I'm like sitting there sweating. You want it cold. Think cave.
Yeah.
Cold, dark, cozy.
Yeah. And then like right before like you get out of bed, you want the cool to turn it into warmer so it wakes your body up. Yeah.
You want heat in the morning and light.
Yeah.
Light and heat to wake you up in the morning. Yeah. Another great sleep hygiene tip is on your phone, because you are going to be on your phone. There's usually like a night mode that you can find where it removes the blue light from your phone. Don't get on Facebook and social media unless it's the Finding Strength stuff, and then you can do it.
It's true. I did. I posted late last night. I was like, oh, I should do this. Whoops.
Because people are on their phones, and it's okay. I go on my phone in the evening
it's normal. Too. It's just life.
But use the yellow light thing, switch it to the night mode, and then get a book.
Yeah.
Go read a book. You want a great book to read? Try Why We Sleep. It'll make you pass right out. It actually says that in the intro. He's like, you're going to fall asleep. Because actually, you might even have noticed as we're talking about sleep and you're listening to this podcast or watching it on YouTube or whatever, you might notice that you're yawning.
Yeah.
You might notice that you're feeling a little sleepy because your brain is an association making machine. When you start talking about sleep, guess what your brain starts to do? Oh, we're going to sleep. Okay, let's make some sleepy chemicals. Right?
Yeah.
So if I can condition my brain to doing the same thing every single night, and I can hack my circadian rhythm to know that I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock every night, and I have this set of signals that I give to my brain that allow it to fall asleep, boom, that's how we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I have another one that I actually really like this question.
Let's go.
Can you explain the science behind dreams? Ooh. Why do we dream, and what purpose do dreams serve in our sleep cycle?
Such a good question. So we mentioned earlier the 4 stages of sleep. Okay. The 4 stages of sleep are awake, light, deep, and REM. These middle two stages, stages 2 and 3 of sleep, are called non-REM sleep. Awake time is what we've been talking about just now. That's the time to fall asleep when you're reading the books, you're taking a bath, you're doing some stretching, you're doing whatever you need to do for that little 30 minutes before you go to sleep, right? Some music might be kind of nice. NSDR is great to fall asleep. The Reveille app helps a lot of people with sleeping, right? That's stage 1. Stage 2 is this light stage of sleep. The muscles start to calm down and relax. Things start to get chill and you're falling to sleep. That lasts something in the neighborhood of about 30 minutes or so, and then you start to descend into what's called deep sleep. And deep sleep is the stage of sleep where your body is rejuvenating itself. Growth hormone is being released, right? This is where you're getting what Dr. Walker calls blood pressure medicine. If you are a person who likes to stay up really, really late and go to sleep late at night, you're actually skipping your deep sleep stages. And that negatively affects heart health. Yeah. And so we see a lot of cardiovascular issues with people who stay up very, very late into the night, shift workers especially. And a lot of the listeners of the podcast are first responders, obviously. You guys are shift workers. And that makes for a big challenge for you guys. But the more consistent you can be with your sleep schedule, the better. Hence, the wake routine and the evening routine. Those two things, right? The sleep routine and the wake routine are going to be absolutely crucial at setting that cycle of sleep, even though it might be inconsistent. But the timing of sleep is really important. Consistency is really important. After that deep sleep, okay, you descend into REM sleep. And REM sleep, that's dreaming. That's the dream state. Your body is completely immobilized and paralyzed. Before this, deep sleep and light sleep, your body's not immobilized. You're moving around, you're rolling over. But as soon as the dream sleep starts, boom, that's rapid eye movement stuff. The hippocampus fires up and it starts to look back at the day. And it starts to kind of log through the day and decide which memories to keep, which memories to throw away, which things I want to retain, which things I don't need to retain. And it uses your entire life to decide what to retain and what not to retain. So guess which memories during the day are retained the most readily?
What?
All the scary ones. Fear memories. Memories that are startling. Memories that are associated with past fear memories. So if I have a job and I'm like a first responder and I have a lot of stressful things happening throughout the day and a lot of fear coming up in my life, my REM sleep is absolutely crucial. I have to have it because that's when I'm filing away all this stuff. And I might have really intense dreams. That's not bad. Intense dreams are not bad. If you're waking up from them frequently, find a mental health therapist and they'll help you out. Right? But REM sleep is this dream state where your body is processing through the day's events and deciding what to retain and what to not retain. It's almost like if you've seen Inside Out.
I was just going to say that. I'm like, it reminds me of Inside Out.
Tell about Inside Out, yeah.
Well, I just love when we go to sleep, like that's in the movie, they do the
vacuum.
Or the vacuum. I was wondering what it was. Yeah.
They have the little sleepy people, the little mind people that come through and they have the little vacuum. They're sucking up all the little memories and
storing them and putting them where they need to go.
Putting them into long term.
In long term, yeah.
Yeah. Because we have long term memory and short term memory. And it's kind of deciding what to retain and what not to retain. Where does it go long term? Or we're going to need this tomorrow? No, probably not. Throw it away. Anyways, that's kind of that REM stage of sleep. And you actually go through that cycle of light, deep, and REM 3 to 4 times a night. And throughout the night, what's very interesting is the beginning kind of half of sleep, the first 3 hours of sleep, most of the sleep is going to be deep sleep, body rejuvenation stuff. And then the last half of sleep, right? You might even wake up in the middle of the night because you actually go back up into this waking stage. You can wake up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom. There's nothing wrong with that. That's very normal. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you can go back to sleep. If you have a hard time going back to sleep, that's where NSDR, Yoga Nidra, the Reveille app. If you need more stuff to do with that, hit us up. I got some tips for you. Don't look at your phone. Yeah. Don't eat food. Don't turn on lights. Keep it as dark as possible. You will go back into the second half of sleep and you will go very quickly into REM sleep. Almost no deep sleep happens in the second half of the night. And that is why getting enough sleep, timing, is very important because you need REM sleep for your mental health.
Yep.
significantly
Yeah.
important in your mental health. And that's what REM sleep is designed to do, is improve mental cognitive function.
Yeah. All right. The next question. How does sleep quality differ across various stages of life, such as childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and old age?
That's a great question. So one of the things, adults generally need 7 to 9. Kids are going to have teenagers are going to have a different circadian rhythm. Theirs is a little bit shifted back. So they are going to want to stay up later and sleep in more, which is kind of tough for our lifestyle culturally. Yeah. In fact, in the book, he talks about this one study they did where they moved the time of high school back by like 2 hours. So
which I think they should.
Yeah. Instead of starting at 7:30, they started at 9:30, and they did it in this little city, and they did this really great study. And what they found was, what do you think they found? Do you remember? I told you about this. Do you remember what they did?
No, but I just think about my own teenagers, and I'm like, I know his attention would be better. I know he would be like more aware. Yeah.
So if attention is better and I'm more aware, how is that going to affect my daily life? Well, they hypothesized that grades would get better. They didn't. They hypothesized that fights at school would go down. They did. What they didn't hypothesize, what they didn't account for, what they didn't think was going to happen, and what they saw was a decrease in car accidents.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Significant decrease in car accidents. Enough that they put it in the study.
Yeah, we should do that for Ezra.
Right? but that just goes to show sleep health is very important.
Yeah.
Little kids, right? There's this term, sleep like a baby. Well, if you actually think about sleep like a baby, you don't want to sleep like a baby. Because how do babies sleep?
And they wake you up in the middle of the night.
If you have an infant,
They're hungry.
They sleep in 90-minute bouts, and then they wake up and they go back to sleep. They wake up and go back to sleep. They wake up and go back to sleep. That's not how you want to sleep. You want to sleep like an old person. Right? You want to sleep like an adult. You want to sleep deeply in short periods of time. That's very, very good quality sleep. The older you get, the more quality of sleep you get. And that's why actually older adults need less sleep than younger adults. Yeah, they can get away with like 5 hours of sleep and be okay. They don't need quite 6 hours of sleep because they're napping during the day and they don't need as much energy, and they shuffle around the house and do their stuff. They're not out, playing freaking all sorts of crazy, doing a bunch of wild stuff during the day like younger adults are. So that's gonna be really important.
Yeah. Next question. These are great questions, by the way. What role does genetics play in sleep patterns? Are some people genetically predisposed being morning or night persons?
Yes. So let's see here. Do I have this? I think I have this on. Oh, did I print that one off? Basically, there's kind of these people, and I don't remember the exact term for it. Let's see here. I can't remember the exact term. I had it written down, but it's okay. I don't have it. Chronotype. Haha, I do have it. Number 4.
You have it. You just have to find it.
Chronotype. 40% of people are morning type people, and 30% of people are evening type people. This is genetically predisposed. So your genetics are going to indicate whether you are a morning or an evening person. So most likely, if your parents are morning people, you'll probably be a morning person too, and vice versa. So most people are going to be more, and then obviously that's only 70%. If you were doing the math, 40 and 30. The other 30 are neither. They're kind of both.
Okay.
And so if you're a morning person, you're going to wake up, get things going. You're going to have an easier time going to sleep at night, right? And have a harder time staying up at night. But if you're the other chronotype, where you get to stay up late at night, this is going to be more difficult for you to wake up in the morning. Learning your chronotype is actually beneficial because many people don't need to wake up early in the morning, and they might even be able to get a job where they can go to work at 10 or 11. If your chronotype is to stay up a little bit later at night, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. You still need the same amount of sleep. You'll still need sunlight in the morning. You'll still need to descend into sleep in the evening, right? You don't have to go to bed at 10 every night. You don't have to go to bed at 8 every night, right?
Yeah.
But most people are going to sleep between 8 and midnight. Dr. Walker, Dr. Huberman, and other experts recommend sleeping before midnight. That's kind of the threshold. And if your chronotype is that of a later gator, if you will, right?
Yeah.
You're going to want to go to sleep by midnight rather than 10 or 11. One's kind of pushing it, but you need to be able to get a solid 7 hours of sleep.
Like
That's
it's got to
really
be
the goal.
good quality sleep.
So if you're going to sleep at midnight and you're falling asleep by about 12:30 or 1, you better make sure you're sleeping until about 7 or 7:30 or 8.
Yeah.
And then you're going to work around 10. So you have a good 2 hours in the morning. Same morning routine applies, right? Same morning routine as before. But that chronotype thing is kind of how it works. And one of the things that Dr. Walker mentions, he says, unfortunately, our society is built around morning types rather than evening types. And life might be a little bit harder for you, but find a career path or a skill set that allows you to work with your chronotype.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. How are we doing on time?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so recapping. Yeah.
Great.
Let's just go through the phases.
We need to do sleep deprivation.
Oh, okay.
Real quick.
Yeah,
okay?
Go ahead.
What happens if you're not getting enough sleep?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
so that's what I want to end with.
Yeah.
If you don't get enough sleep. Now get this, okay? There's a couple of really important studies that I want to highlight. The first, this 2011 study was done on 500,000 people. And these people were evaluated for sleep deprivation. What they found is people who are sleep deprived, meaning they slept less than 6 hours a night. Okay, they're sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night. These people had a 45% increase in a chance of heart disease.
45%?
Heart disease. Number one killer of human beings. Yes.
Well, and our food doesn't help either, people.
But that's so
sleep
again
on top of that.
compounding.
45 compounding. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have crappy diet.
Yeah.
And you don't sleep. Yeah. And you got mental health history in your family and you're impoverished. Bro.
Yeah.
You're in for a freaking ride.
Do something about it.
Yeah, like that sucks. Start with sleep though. Sleep is foundational.
It's our foundational,
right?
Yeah.
Another one. This one is freaking gnarly. Okay. They did a 14-year-long study in Japan. And in this study, they studied people who slept less than 6 hours a night. What they found was a 500% increase in cardiac arrest events.
Oh my gosh.
These people are having heart attacks because they didn't sleep. Yes. So low sleep equals high blood pressure. That's a big one. Okay. Another one. This is fascinating, right? Sleeping less than 7 hours increases your chance of a car accident, because what they did is they did a study of people who had a blood alcohol content of 0.05, which is legally drunk in the state of Utah, right? And they did a study, and then they had people, so group one, people with 0.05 blood alcohol content, and they did a study, or they compared that to a group of people who had not slept for 19 hours.
Dang.
They found that their coordination, their reaction time, their ability to retain information was exactly equal. So what we're saying is, if you've been awake for longer than 19 hours, you might as well be drunk.
Oh my goodness.
And so sleep deprived driving is equivalent to drunk driving. There's a bunch of studies in the book. He talks about that too. So sleep deprivation is a big deal.
It affects your health.
It does.
In a big way.
So want to know the best way, or I guess the worst way to deprive yourself of sleep and sleep quality? Alcohol.
Yeah.
And marijuana.
Yeah.
And nicotine.
Yep.
These are negatively affecting REM sleep significantly in people, to the point where their coordination is going out the window, their ability to retain information is going out the window, right? The hangover isn't just I get a headache. The hangover is because I didn't sleep well at night. My REM sleep depth is limited. Marijuana use is touted as something that is beneficial for sleep. Wrong.
So what do you say to the people though that say, I really can't sleep without it? Like, it really does help me sleep.
You can't fall asleep without it. Sure.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean you're getting good sleep quality. There's a difference between falling asleep and staying asleep and getting deep sleep.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're seeing cardiovascular episodes. And cannabis, marijuana research is in its infancy because it was just barely made legal, and it's still Schedule 1 nationally. And it was a bunch of problems with it. But as we do sleep studies with people with regular cannabis users, we're seeing increases in anxiety, increases in heart problems, which is a big freaking deal, right? Cardiac events are going up in people with chronic cannabis use, negative sleep health, right? It's being touted as this mental health beneficial thing. Regular cannabis use is not beneficial for your mental health. It's just not. It's not beneficial for your sleep health. It's increasing levels of anxiety. And this is not super surprising. It is a little disappointing because I myself, you know, like I have a cannabis card. I smoke the weed on occasion, right? But regular use of this thing is not something that is beneficial, right? You're going to a concert, freaking smoke it up, sure, right? It's not gonna. You're not gonna get great sleep that night.
Yeah.
Right. If you like to drink, sure, go drink every once in a while, occasionally, but you're going to negatively affect your sleep health and your overall health every single time you drink, every single time you smoke. Nicotine, we know this, right? Nicotine and tobacco use also negatively affects sleep health. So we really just want to improve our sleep, because that's the foundation for sleep or for health, overall health.
Oh, yeah.
And so cutting back on the booze and the weed and the cigarettes, that's going to help you as much as anything else. And then getting a regular, consistent sleep cycle.
Which is no surprise though,
No,
right?
it's not.
Like this
It's
is not
not.
a surprise. Like we know that these chemicals are not good for our body and so it sucks, but what we can take from this is that we can pull back on it.
Right.
Yeah. You know, it's not something that we have to do every single day, every single night to fall asleep. Figure out why you're not able to fall asleep on your own. I know that's kind of scary for some people, but maybe there's a reason why, and you could tackle that.
Yeah.
Hit that head on.
Try NSDR and yoga nidra.
Yeah, you love NSDR.
It's so helpful to fall asleep. I mean, everybody, you're smoking this weed and it helps me fall asleep. And I really think that it is helping my sleep because I fall asleep more quickly. And when I don't smoke weed, I can't fall asleep. Here's your sign.
Yeah.
Like, that's called chemical dependence.
Yeah, you're dependent on something to
Right?
help you fall asleep. Yeah.
People are also using benzodiazepines to fall asleep.
Yeah, I was gonna
You
say,
know,
what about like
alprazolam,
PM
right?
pills, like Tylenol PM, Benadryl?
Right? Yes,
Yeah.
these are not helping sleep depth, and this is why the conversation on sleep is so important, because the depth of sleep is just as important as the length of sleep.
Yeah.
Quality and quantity both need to be a part of the conversation. And diphenhydramine, Tylenol PM, sure, it helps you fall asleep, but the sleep depth is not there. Your REM sleep is negatively affected.
Yeah.
Just like with cannabis and alcohol.
Well, and then
Benzodiazepines is the same thing, right? Your Xanax is not helping you sleep, people. Xanax will not give you better sleep. You might stay asleep, but it is not helping you get good sleep. It's just not.
And then it affects you in the morning, in the start of your day, which is the most important part of sleep, is the start of your day. And you're already struggling off of the chemicals that you took the night before.
Yes. So chemicals that do actually help sleep. Magnesium.
Yes. Oh, we should talk about
Magnesium.
Okay, the vitamins. Yep. Okay.
Magnesium is crucial. Taking a magnesium supplement before sleep is recommended by many sleep experts.
Well, we're all deficient in it.
Yes.
Everybody is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Additionally, L-theanine has been proven to be helpful in a myriad of different ways, right? Great supplement. Check that one out as well. We can put some recommendations. You can actually check on the Finding-Strength website, finding-strength.com. There's a sleep kind of support supplementation kind of like one sheet on there as well. I have the morning routine on there as well. Let's click through some of the links. There's like mental health resources and things like
We
that.
have the Finding Strength methods up there to
Finding Strength
teach
methods
you
on
how
there,
to.
yeah. And we talk about the supplements and the dosages and stuff like that, which I took from Huberman Lab, right?
Yeah.
Sleep Toolkit, Huberman Lab, you'll find the same information, right? I'm just taking what he recommends and saying that. Magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin,
That's
50
my
milligrams
favorite.
of apigenin. Our
Game
ours
changer.
ours is about 100 milligrams of magnesium threonate and 50 milligrams of apigenin.
Mm-hmm.
How great do you sleep now?
Oh my gosh, the apigenin. First, the magnesium came in and changed my life, but then the apigenin and those two together,
It's the morning routine in combination with that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I have like my specialty in working with therapy people, right, is people who have horrible sleep, severe trauma, right? The very first thing that I do is we start the morning routine and then we get them off of their Ambien because 90% of them are on freaking Ambien, which is also not helping your sleep health. Go look that up.
Or your heart.
Or your heart, right? It's a sedative. It's not really a sleep aid. It's a sedative. It's knocking you the freak out.
It's doing why you're getting it. I mean, doctors are prescribing it to you because it's doing the job. But is it beneficial for you in the long run? Absolutely not.
No sleep expert is going to prescribe a sedative.
You're right.
No sleep expert is going to prescribe a benzodiazepine. And if they claim to be a sleep expert and they're prescribing those things, they better check their facts, check their science.
Check their license.
And I get, I'm in hot water all the time. I don't really care anymore. I don't, right? I just want to help people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our goal.
Yeah, that's our goal, is just to help people. And like, we're not perfect at this either. No. We struggle with our own things that we have to like get out of the way to, tackle this.
Other things that help at night, a bedtime tea is really great. Yep. Valerian root is awesome. You can get that. They have like a sleepy time tea. Melatonin though is not good for sleep health, unfortunately.
Which sucks.
Because melatonin already exists naturally in your body, and when you start to supplement with melatonin, the melatonin levels in your body naturally produces are going to go down, and so you're going to create a dependence on melatonin. And most of the melatonin that you're getting from like the store and over the counter and stuff isn't actually melatonin. The purity is not. Look on the back. It's not even verified by the FDA. You don't know what you're actually getting. It just says melatonin on the bottle. It might be. It might not. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Walker talks about that too.
Read the descriptions on your bottles. For sure.
Good stuff. So recap.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously sleep is the foundation of our mental health, our physical health, and our performance, but that starts in the morning. And it's free. The top 4 things.
4 for free.
4 for free. You got your sunlight, you got your breathing, you got your water exposure, and then you get your exercise in. It can even be a brisk walk, jog, something 10 to 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be your main workout of the day. And then
check out finding-strength.com, mental health resources, or the first responders link for the morning routine that I've prescribed for many, many, many hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then your caffeine intake, make sure you are waiting your 90 to 120 minutes before you take that. It is a game changer when you start doing that, I promise. And then it matters what you're putting in your mouth. It really does. It matters what food you're eating, especially the start of the day. We eat a big meal. It can make us tired and drag already in the beginning. So make sure you're eating your protein, your healthy carbs, getting your right amount of fats in. And then, if you need a nap, do your nap routine. Make sure to not oversleep. And then your nighttime routine. Go look at that sunlight again. Go see the sunset. See those beautiful colors in it. It sends those waves and puts out the chemicals to get ready to go to sleep. Your lights matter in your home. Shut off your main lights. Turn on your warm lights and do your sleep routine. Have a routine before you go to bed. It helps put those chemicals out there to start shutting you down, and you sleep better. You just overall sleep better if you have a routine that you can stick to, I would say,
for sure,
throughout the week as much as possible.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully this was a really good episode for you and you get some tips and tricks and information out of it. If you want to improve your life, if you want to make yourself have more energy, fix your sleep. If you want help doing that, I know somebody.
This guy too.
We would love to help you out with this. If you need a clinician or if you need a coach or you need somebody you just want to make your life better, reach out.
Yep.
We have been doing this for a long time. We're pretty dang good at it. And if you want to work with us, we do telehealth, we do individual, we do group. We've got a lot of stuff going on and we would love to help you. So reach out through the website, through the podcast, all the social media channels, all that stuff. And we'll help you out the best we can. So thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate all our listeners. And this has been another great episode.
Yeah, it has. Get your sleep.